Right, everybody, welcome to Custom Creator. OGL Schmitt here at the start of the weekend. Hope it's looking good for you guys. It's a nice sunny day here in New Albany. I just got off of work, so day's got nowhere to go but up. Uh, Also in for some good music. Danny has introduced me to some amazing artists. As we travel down this lost highway of forgotten country or outlaw country or however you want to call it, classic country, guys like Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings and George Jones and the one and only Hank Williams Jr., the legend himself. And I've just been blown away by how talented and how real these musicians are. Now, I am familiar with Alabama. My mother used to watch CMT a lot, and so I know some country artists by osmosis. Seminole Wind was a song I'd heard on that. Just feel like that. I Don't Need Your Rocking Chair by George Jones. But I remember Alabama from the song I'm in a Hurry and Don't Know Why, which I thought was so catchy. But Danny has played me some other stuff from them, and they are absolutely an amazing band. And they're educational, too. See, I've got musician friends. I'm not a musician myself, but I have friends that are. And now I can tell them that if you're going to play in Texas, you got to have a fiddle in the band. So, thank you, Alabama. So, let's check out some amazing vocals and killer musicianship from Alabama.
If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. That lead guitar is hot, but not for a Louisiana man. So rosin up that bowl for faded love and let's all dance. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. I remember down in Houston, we were putting on a show when a cowboy in the back stood up and yelled, "Hot Night Joe!" He said, "We love what you're doing, boys, don't get us wrong. There's just something missing in your song. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. That lead guitar is hot, but not for a Louisiana man. So rosin up that bowl for faded love and let's all dance. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band."
Stopped at 111. Danny will be proud. It's a short song. These songs are much shorter than I would like because there's so much greatness in them. But so right off the bat, that beat and those harmonies, the way the song kicks off, so catchy. And Alabama's sound, it is, and this is gonna sound super corny, so I apologize, but it is like condensed light and positivity in musical form. You hear it and you immediately start to smile and tap your foot. I don't care how depressed you are. I don't care what's going on in your life. They're foreclosing on your mortgage. You know, your house burned down. Something. You hear that and you will tap your foot in the burned remains of your home. And that's a contrast because guys like Waylon and Johnny, they've got a lot of darkness in their sound, which I think is what makes them compelling. Alabama, and please don't throw things at me. Please don't unsubscribe. As an '80s guy, they always reminded me of sort of like a country version of Def Leppard, and by that I mean they have very subtle guitar textures that are like very cleanly picked and very they sound like kind of a shimmering sound to them, and they just have amazing harmonies. And their sound is a lot more subtle than Leopard Stadium Rock, and I think Alabama are much better musicians, but just those elements, and it just sounds so good. So I'm gonna go back to the beginning. We're gonna play a little bit through, play through a little bit more is what I'm trying to say. Let's do this. Ah, there we go.
If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. That lead guitar is hot, but not for a Louisiana man. So rosin up that bowl for faded love and let's all dance. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. I remember down in Houston, we were putting on a show when a cowboy in the back stood up and yelled, Cotton Eye Joe! He said, we love what you're doing, boys, don't get us wrong. There's just something missing in your song. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. That lead guitar is hot, but not for Louisiana man. So rosin up that bow for faded love and let's all dance. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band.
Quick pause because more cool stuff is going to happen and they'll make me forget it. But I love how they go, you got to have a fiddle in it really quickly, and then they draw bam, bam. They draw it out with those amazing harmonies. It's a great dynamic trick there. Love it.
So we dusted off our boots and put our cowboy hats on straight. Them Texans raised the roof when Jeff opened up his case. We say y'all all want a two-step. You say you want a do-si-do. Well, here's a fiddling song before we go. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. That lead guitar is hot, but not for Louisiana man. So rosin up that bow for faded love and let's all dance. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band.
Yeah. There it is.
If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. That lead guitar is hot, but not for Louisiana man. So rosin up that bow for faded love and let's all dance. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band.
Too short. And Alabama took it one step further. So I know they have a fiddle in the band, but they have an amazing fiddle, and it's their guitarist too, their lead guitar player. That's what blew me away. I don't remember what song it was that Danny played, but their guitar player was absolutely shredding on his guitar, just sounding so awesome. And then he took it off and grabbed a fiddle and started shredding on that. It's like the man's doing double duty. You know, he's you know, he's Charlie Daniels and Albert Collins all in one. It's yeah, and Alabama's just they're so tight musically. You know the bass line in that song like that was starting to catch my attention. Like it's really hard to get past their vocal harmonies, and the lead vocal there is just so clean and so rich and so expressive, and that fella had it to the end. I remember seeing videos of old Alabama playing, and he still sounded great. Um, yeah, they're southern to the core, but they are no doubt a national treasure. I'm gonna rewind. I'm gonna pull this back a little bit so we can hear that fiddle solo again, and then we'll call this a reaction. But I also want to say that one thing that I really like about this genre in particular um, is the songs just sound like slices of your life or slices of their life that anyone could relate to. You know, whether it's guys thinking about trouble with their women, or it's guys thinking about getting drunk, or you know getting revenge on someone that killed a friend. Just whether it's dark or whether it's fun, it always feels personal. And here's Alabama basically like, for all I know, this may have actually happened to them. They may have played down in Texas, and someone's like, "No, I'm sorry, you need a fiddle." And I can just see the player being like, "Oh wait," and running backstage, grabbing his fiddles, like, "You mean this?" And just shredding. Yeah, I love me some Alabama. Uh, and it's perfect for when you get off work because it'll always put a smile on your face, and work like does the inverse. So let me go back, and I want to hear that fiddle solo again. Also, does anyone know the difference between a violin and a fiddle? Danny and I have been trying to figure this out for a while. The best we can tell is the price, or like if it's in classical, it's a violin, and if it's in country, it's a fiddle. But just let us know. Is there an actual physical difference between a violin and a fiddle? Either way, let's listen to some fiddling.
Love and let's all dance.
That'll work.
If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was hmm, love that. Uh, so thank you very much, guys, for enjoying that song with me. Uh, let me know in the comments again about the fiddle, and let me know what other Alabama songs you'd like to see me and Danny react to, because yeah, we're always up for some Alabama. I keep thinking there's something else I wanted to say, but again, that badass fiddle playing just kind of took every other thought out of my head. So yeah, mental health is real. Be a part of the start. Music is your best support group. You're not always going to have people around, and sometimes a guy like Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Wayne Staley, Maynard James Keenan, Bruce Dickinson, those guys can sometimes give you they can be your therapist. They can be your support group. And Alabama will have you on that floor dancing in no time. That's what I was going to say. I can just see this song being performed live. Like when he was making those, yeah, I could see them like, getting the crowd to clap along and they're dancing and stuff. Yeah, I I would have loved to have seen Alabama at their peak. That would have been such a fun show. But anyway, that's all for me, guys. Thank you very much. Hope you guys had fun, and we'll be seeing you in the next reaction. Thank you very much. There are ways to support the channel. Simple $2 donation helps. This helps us pay the bills, keep making the channel better. We have a cool members area and a Patreon. Both of those have got some pretty awesome exclusive content. We're working on putting even more in there. And join our Discord. You know, we love talking country music. We love talking music in general, movies, mental health, anything you want to talk about. I always use some nice, loud, passionate voices there in the Discord. So thank you all very much. Love you all. I'm really going now. Have a good one.